What's up, everybody? Well, today I'm going to show you another vacuum in my collection. This time it is on a Hoover Supremacy. I believe I'm saying that name correctly. This was one of the latest versions of a convertible you could find back then. For those of you who are not familiar with the Supremacy lineup, that basically had a few Hoover cleaners that were at the end of their production life, and they just slapped the Supremacy name and gave it this nice, beautiful, dark maroon, almost burgundy color. And this to me looks very beautiful. And I wanted this particular style of convertible. For some of you remember, I have a blue convertible, which has a much older styling. This hood looks a lot more flat and doesn't have as much style as the blue convertible. But that's not the main reason I wanted this vacuum. I wanted it because it has this beautiful maroon color, the Supremacy. And this was the lower end version of the Supremacy, because this, like I said, lower end Supremacy convertible. There was another Supremacy model that I think that one was a rebadged Decade 800. And then there was also a rebadged Supremacy Canister, which that one I believe was a Dimension 1000. But anyway, let's give a walkthrough of this. Like I said, this is one of the styles of convertibles that has this flat hood with almost no style, which kind of gives it somewhat of an old school look. So anyway, right here it says Supremacy on the front with headlight. As you can see right here, one thing I do like about this over my blue convertible, it actually has a little indicator for your carpet height adjustment. As you can see, there's 4 carpet height settings. And the carpet height is adjusted on the rear wheels of these convertibles. I always like to leave it on the normal setting for the pile of my carpet. Mine's about a medium pile. And anyway, moving up, this does have a nice black handle to kind of go with the theme for that dark burgundy color. And here's the cord. It is a nice, half-decent 24-foot cord. It's definitely longer than the cord on my other convertible. But unfortunately, it is worse for wear. As you see, there are some nicks in quite a bit of areas. This thing was probably used regularly as a vacuum, and I don't want to guess how many times this cord was ran over. So anyway, back here, your power switch is back here, and here's your bag. For those of you who didn't know, these convertibles, the later style ones, actually had a cloth outer bag. The early ones had a vinyl outer bag. These cloth bags actually hold up much better than the vinyl bags do. As many of you who own the Hoover Concepts know, the early ones had a vinyl bag and the later ones had a cloth outer bag. But anyway, this is take a top fill Hoover Type A bag. This particular example is running a HEPA cloth bag for increased filtration, which definitely helps out, because back then Hoover didn't care much about filtration back then. But now in today's day and age, filtration is a big thing, especially for a vacuum that's this old, because this is a direct air vacuum. Mainly what that is all the suction that goes from the head, goes through a fan, and then blows into the bag, which everything exhausts out that way, and which the bag only becomes your filter. Well, actually, I take that back. The bag is the first filter, and the second filter becomes your outer bag, which cloth outer bags make a much better filter design than the vinyl bags do, I will say. So anyway, let's go and flip this thing underneath. Show you the bottom plate. This is the later style one, so yeah, unfortunately it does have a plastic bottom plate instead of the metal. But it does have the nice brush roll with pretty decent red brush strips. And you also do have the beater bars right here. The bottom plate can be moved off by just moving these little clips. And then off she comes to service your belt. Let's go and put this thing back on. Unfortunately, this little notch right here to hold the bottom plate broke off, but it still holds on in place. Also, I'm not too sure if it's by its design or how worn this thing is, but the bottom plate doesn't seem to stay on all the way. As you can see, it kind of rattles a bit. So I'm probably gonna have to give that some attention to. Probably just gonna have to tighten the screws to these latches and hopefully that fix it. Or maybe bend them so it holds the bottom plate down almost all the way. There's just a little bit of tweaking that needs to be done here and there. As you can see, this does have black wheels. That gives you a key indicator that this is a later convertible. Earlier ones had gray wheels. Let's give you a look at the model number. Hoover Cleaner model U4719-900. This has a 5 amp motor. Bag Type A. For those of you who read this, the serial right there. For those of you who had the serial date, the late 80s, early 90s, and even the early to mid 2000s, the first 2 digits are the month that it was manufactured, and then the 3rd and 4th is the year. So 08 of 91, that's August of 1991. For household use only, made in the USA. In 1991, actually, believe it or not, that's when the Hoover Elites were out at the time, which those were the successor to these, unfortunately. Which is a real shame because these convertibles were really good, well-built machines. And luckily, they still made the Hoover Guardsman, which that was the commercial grade version of the convertible. And if I'm not mistaken, those probably are still in production today. Yeah, that's one inconvenient thing about these old things. These cord hooks bottom or lower do not rotate, so you have to unravel the cord the old-fashioned way. So now let's go ahead and plug this in. Now we'll go ahead and turn this thing on and give it a run for you guys. So anyway, you will hear a loud bit of rattling on this, and that's probably either the bottom plate or the brush roll. Then again, it might be the brush roll, but because I took the bottom plate off while I gave it a test run before I did this video, and I noticed the brush roll was still making that loud rattling noise. Could be a combination of both, and I think I might have to take the brush roll out to get it lubed up to maybe it won't rattle anymore. But so for this demonstration, we're unfortunately gonna have to put up with that loud, annoying sound. So here we go. will say this thing runs exceptionally smooth, and definitely I like the longer length cord on this than on my blue convertible. You could definitely reach a lot more around your house with this. So I hope you enjoyed this video of the Hoover Supremacy. Be sure and stay tuned. Don't forget to like, rate, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.